Vanakkam, Vanakkam, Vanakkam. First of all, I am so sorry. Due to some technical issues, we were not able to start at the right time. Okay. So I am so happy to meet all of you once again through Velammal Nexus program. And of course, as usual, it's going to be 40 minutes. I'm going to be there with you for 2 days. Today from 6 to 6:40. From tomorrow again from 6 to 6:40. Thank you very much for all the teaching staffs and the technical support team to bring me to you all. And of course, last session was a very good session, and I get appreciation from all across, from the teachers, from the students, from parents, and so many people. Some of my colleagues, office colleagues, son, daughter, they are all working, studying in Velammal, all were watching. So today we are going to see an interesting topic called graphic design. What is graphic design? And 2 days, what are we going to do? These are all the questions that is running behind your mind. So today we'll see some basic fundamental elements of design, especially graphic design. And tomorrow we will see a professional work of graphic design and how graphic designers work, from inspiration, mood boards, and couple of logos, and we'll touch couple of my works, few works of mine which is to be shown to you, so therefore you can also benchmark it for your reference. So these are the ones we are going to cover it today. So once again, thank you for the technical team, and of course thanks for all the children, parents, teachers who patiently watching me even for the second time. I'll try to be as lucid as possible, as simple as possible. Here my intention would be to give a detail or a brief about introduction about graphic design and how this field is evolving a country like India, what kind of possibilities, how to understand, how to approach graphic design. And also we can little bit talk about the scenario today in India as a subject of education, as a subject of career, and as well as a subject of a business model. So there are 3 aspects to look into graphic design. I think let us go to the presentation. I'm going to transit from my camera to the presentation. Hope everyone is looking at the presentation. It's going to be a lot of visual, no big rocket science. It's very interesting, and I think you are going to enjoy. Thank you so much. Without delay, we will go forward. Exactly by 6:45, we will stop for today, and tomorrow we will start from where we have to. Okay, right. So introduction to graphic design. All right. And how will I change the slide? Suresh, I have the slide here. Okay. Suresh, I need your help. The next slide is not coming. If you are watching, can you call me? All right. Is it fine now? Okay. All right. Hope you guys are looking at the presentation. Right. What you see here is visually 5 different categories of visual design. We call it graphic design. One is Apple logo. You can see constructively it is being explored. There is a composition and proportion. Next you see is a race car, Formula One car, which is graphically rich in terms of graphic design. Third one, you see a poster or a pamphlet design, which is, all your kids are now jumping around. It's McDonald's. It says fuel up and feel good. And what you see is an infographic, information about instructions. And third one is a very serious presentation design. Say for example, presentation graphics or a official workflow graphics. All the 5 are done in a different purpose and for different people and different kind of platforms. So visual communication is a problem solving activity. What is the problem? If I make a phone or a product, I want the viewer to actually grasp where it is coming from. So the problem of identification is being solved. And I have a business to be run and I want to reach out my target customers. And how I'm going to solve my problem of communication, the connection between the customer to the business, how? The brand identity. Number 3, there is a visual audible display of something, visual display of something to be instructed even without a language barrier. If you are traveling in China, if it is written in Chinese, you will not be able to see. So the visual communication can be in terms of some pleasing shape and design or whatever. And you have infographics. Infographics will have a lot of data. The data is to be aligned properly, so therefore the user without any hassle, without any problem, will be able to make sense. Say for example, population, the number of corona victims and the hospitalized people or cured people or the casualties, all of them have been represented in terms of visual graphics, so therefore people can easily, without no time, you can understand. So there are different type of utility platforms in terms of photography, in terms of typography, in terms of illustration, in terms of combination of all these things, manual sketches, markers, paints, so many materials. But what is very important is the idea. Now, before we get into the ideas, we will see what are elements of graphic design. What are elements of graphic design? Elements of the body. You have eye, nose, mouth, ears and things. There is a composition. Nature designed us in such a way with the purpose and operation of each and every element in your face. With the hand, what you do, with your legs, what you do. So the elements of graphic design is very important. Today, the graphic designers understand the digital tools, but not the framework of design. It's very simple. It's categorized. When I am going to show you a couple of elements, it is going to be so interesting, and how the professional designers are manipulating such things is going to be fun if you deal with graphic design. Okay, so there are 9 parameters as far as I know, or design of my work concerned. There are 9 elements which is important. That is, are all framing the elements of graphic design. Number 1, line. Number 2, shape. 3, color, texture, space, balance, rhythm, emphasize, and unity. Unity or cohesiveness or whatever you call it. So you have line, shape. So a graphic design work is combination of all of them together. And let's see what is line. I mean, it looks like it's very kiddish when I talk about do anyone have to describe what is line is to you? Because every day you write through your pen, pencil, graphics, pictures, drawings, and everything is line. But have you ever seen line much more seriously? How designers look into it? A line has a psychological impact. It shows the direction, where it comes from, where it goes. It shows the weight, the stroke width. If it is 2 mm thick, it has a value. And you have direction, you have weight of the stroke, and variation of pressure. It can be lighter, it can be darker, it starts from light to dark. So all of them try to communicate a psychological, emotional connect to the viewer. So you can see different lines. And it is very useful or a very effective graphic device which can communicate visually as well as verbally. You write my name, Sathya, Seelan. It's a verbal communication. It's a group of lines. And if you make a figure, it's a visual stuff. If you make a tiger or a dog or whatever, it's a visually enhanced lines. And lines are the language to communicate your emotions. The character, you are smiling, or we are very angry. You can see the emoji, emojis. So many emotions. It has been fun to use those emojis. Like so many verbs and paragraphs have been comprised into one character. So that's what the characters and the direction, where to go, where to come, and things like that. So the lines are so important. Let us see how graphic designers manipulate the capacity of line to communicate several terms. I mean, you see the lines are flowing like a wave like this. And you see a man has been entangled between his head and cap and legs and shoes. It's interesting stuff. There's a big emotion. An array of lines depicted in such a way. There is a portrait of a man who's looking up. So now you can see much more seriously into lines. So the lines are basic element of design. The second one is the shape. With these lines, if the lines are bounded together with one boundary, you have a shape. What are the shapes? It's all very primitive shapes. You have a square, you have a circle, you have a triangle, you have a pentagon, and so on. You have a cone. A shape is a 3 or 2-dimensional object that stands out from the space. You have a space of a paper, out of that you bound it through lines, and then you have a defined boundary that implied a kind of shape. So these kind of shapes are very important to make some graphic design. What you see here is a combination of color and shape and lines and things like that. The space is utilized in a very novel way. You can see a girl and comes some text. It's a wonderful composition of some patterns coming there. And on the right side, without any color, just very limited, very subtle colors, black and white, and a small cat and a big cat has been depicted very interestingly. Okay, now you can understand the shape little more. And again, there is a shape here. There is a bicycle you can see, and also a 3-dimensional entangling stripes there. So the shapes are interestingly handled by a primitive geometry. Exactly, the shapes contains 3 logos here. You have Starbucks, which is a combination of line and a circular shape. And we'll see some logo stories tomorrow. And the second to it is the middle of the 3 is Delta. Delta is a Delta Airways, which is a US based flight company or whatever, air traffic company or whatever. Now the Delta is also a triangle, but can you see a flight there? Simply templated and very interesting shape which says it's flying. And McDonald's, you are jumping around with your flexible French fries. So the McDonald's, okay, what the shapes are telling a lot of stories without even the name of the company is written down. So we saw line, we saw shape. Now anything without color? So the color is most emotional, the more emotional, element of design. It's a powerful tool. It evokes numerous emotions and reactions. And not only the direct color, the colors also have values, saturation, hues. With that, play with your values and saturations and hues. You can given a lot of perception and lot of emotion. So please remember, color is not just aesthetic value. It has an emotional value. It has tremendous amount of potential to communicate emotions. And we are going to see in detail in the later tomorrow's presentation how the colors, what are the colors which will go together. There are a lot of tertiary, primary. We can segregate these colors little more. We can have a little more deep dive into the colors maybe tomorrow. But the colors are taken from nature. And what you see, fantastic sprout flowers, and you have a formation of rocks in America, and you have a pieces of orange or citron or whatever you call it, and it has been very emotional, 3 different colors. With these kind of colors, a man-made artifact, a cloth or a fabric has been given rainbow color. So people go for colors and nature for their natural colors for their inspirations into their artifacts, right? Now, when we were talking about psychology of colors, each and every color have their own emotional value. It's very interesting to know this. I mean, red, it is a vibrant and passionate. It is very stimulating, because it's a color of blood. The majority of humans like to go for red. And orange is energy, okay, and enthusiastic. Orange is fun. And yellow is friendly, cheerful, and warm. Green is natural, healthy, and peaceful. Likewise, you can read about blue here, and it's more responsible, and pink, and purple, brown, black. Black is exclusive, prestigious, and luxury. Most of the most costliest, luxurious cars are in black in color. That's how the Western world understand it. But the white is pure, innocent, and practical, with simple kind of stuff. You look at Gandhi, you have a white dhoti, and now the graphic designers use lines as their element. Shape is their element again, and with a color. Now, the texture is another important element. What is texture? Right? Texture is what your shirt is having a texture, and your grab handle or wherever you touch and feel, you have a texture. Say for example, these textures are graphically inspired from the tree. One of the inspirations are from the tree. If you can see the tree's textures and taken to the graphically, it's bound like this. You can create textures out of text also. Okay. So these textures are very important. Basically for transportation design or product design or whatever, where it has to be glossy, where it has to be texture, where it has to be little more, pattern and things like that. So the textures and patterns are very important elements of design after the color. Okay. Then comes the space. Okay. A fantastic graphic designer would know how to use the space. Space is nothing but the place in between your elements or characters or texts or whatever. As an element of design, space refers the area around, above, below, and behind of the object that you are using. To understand it little more, I want to introduce you today M.C. Escher, who lived between 1898 and 1972. A fantastic artist. He worked only on tessellations. What is tessellation? What is Escher? You can, please continue your search in the net. I mean, Escher is a phenomenal artist who transforms space into something which is unexpected and unimaginable. Say, look at, the bird eats the fish. The fish is under the water. The fish slightly evolve, and then look at the spaces, and gradually there is a point that the shape of the fish, this, with the help of the space increase, it has become the bird which is flying. Okay, so you can look at it's like that. So there are thousands of tessellations done by Escher with the understanding of the space. Do you like it? Really? There are a lot of people now, after inspired by Escher, making a modern kind of tessellations in graphic design. That's a big artwork, medium of artwork where people earn millions of rupees by brilliantly working on this kind of tessellations. Okay, so the space has been understood very nicely. But inspired by this Escher, if you look at the space, you can look at the left side corner. There you have white bear and black bear. They are embracing each other, but the space of negative space and positive space, they have an interplay and come up with a fantastic graphic design. Okay, so when you call about space, it has a negative space, balanced space, and positive space. You can use negative space when and where, whenever you like. I mean, wherever you think it is appropriate. If you are a designer, you have to decide where to use the negative space, and you have a balanced space and positive space. So the space plays a very big role, right? Okay, and then balance, a positive space and negative space. It's not necessary that you have to fill the entire paper by text, figures, and things like that. Whenever I see a poster which is not designed properly, I'll say, wow, what is this? And each and every text is in a different font. You know what is font is? We are going to cover it in the next class also. Now, before that, we'll see the balances. You guys are designing your notebook, you're writing so many essays, and your newspapers, pamphlets, posters, and so many things are there. And if you follow these kind of elements of design, it is going to be really professional. What is professionalism? What is designer? Who is amateur? Who is a professional artist? All these things are the questions that is to be answered. I'll try to answer maybe tomorrow. But the balance is something where the distribution of the weight, of visual weight in art. What is visual weight? And you have a white space and a big font, and how to arrange your topics or the visual elements, some photographs, some paragraph and topic and things like that. So there are visual weight can be balanced in such a way. It's not just equally left or right or symmetrical. I mean, there are different ways of balancing it. If you see those pictures in the the right side, the first one clockwise is a symmetrically balanced. I mean, from the left to right, it is exactly the same. And the right side is an asymmetrical balance. And horizontally balanced one is there in the third one, and diagonally balanced. So there are an arrangement of your contents in such a way, so therefore it creates a kind of interest. So how it is? What is balance in graphic design? You can see symmetry is exactly opposite. An approximate symmetry is, in the same way you put something else, which is approximate symmetry. And you have an asymmetry, but the person has moved in to counterbalance balance it. What you call the plate between these two guys are never this way or never that way. It is balanced properly. It's on the straight line. Okay, without the man, if you put a dog or something of the equal weight, what do you call the plate, the horizontal plate is balanced in a straight line, and instead of one you have a two person, so therefore they moved in, so therefore the balance has been maintained. But inappropriately, if you have three people one side, the balance is out of balance, it's gone out of balance. So the visual elements also have an understanding of balance. How you balance it, it's all up to you. Say for example, the balance, I have taken one simple example of two fishes in three different ways. All the three are balanced properly, but in a very novel way, very interesting way. Okay, so you have a fish, I don't know. So the fishes are entangled, and then you have a diagonally balanced curve. And when it comes there, they are very near, but still it is balanced by, all the other ways. And of course, instead of two big elements, the arrangement of the fish is in a different way. Still, you have an S there, but it's still balanced. Okay, so what I mean to say is the balance is a personal experience, but it's a perception between your brain and the visual elements, and you remember those elements which I was telling about. The other one is rhythm. Okay, the rhythm is something, what is rhythm in a song, any music, you have a rhythm, a repeated patterns. Okay, rhythm is a pattern which is created repeating elements in a pre derived manner. Okay, so I don't know if you follow music. If the rhythm is wrong, then the entire experience of music is collapsed. Okay, there are a lot of rhythms. The scale of rhythm is going like, in Tamil or in Carnatic will say Onnangalam, Rendangalam. It's like that. Within a desired time, the repeatability, and you can also create a lot of varieties. So like that, we can also create visual rhythm. How? So you have a repetition, you have a pattern, combined together, you can follow a kind of rhythm. Okay, so there is a melting point and there is a string which rises in a very predictable manner. It goes up. There is a rhythm, a visual harmonious rhythm, it is happening there. Now you know what is line is, and you know what is shape is, you know what is color is, you know what is texture is, and you know what is you call the balances. Now you are seeing the rhythm. Okay. Okay, the next is emphasize. What do you want to emphasize? You have so many tools here, out of which the center one is emphasized, giving importance and giving a focal point to one particular stuffs. Say for example, it has been sideline and the center, it's all directional. You have a focal point, and there you see your focus is going towards this, the circle or ellipse which is kept in the side. How you direct your users to focus on that particular element which you want them to watch, because there's a lot of visual elements there, out of which how the emphasis has been arranged properly. Right, now this is how they emphasize. Okay, so the focus is on the center. Okay, so you have emphasize, and the last one is the unity. Unity. So this is the Times of India newspaper. You can very well see the advertisement is a different genre or a different story altogether. But if you see the entire newspaper, all of them, the text and everything follow one particular text other than the Times of India. But the Times of India is a logo. They are not supposed to change it. They are retaining it for long. It's a serif font. I'll tell you what is serif and what is sans and things like that in detail maybe tomorrow. But now what you see here is a unity of same kind of textures. If you are reading a magazine like Vikatan or Hindu or Tamil or English or Malayalam or any language, they have a corporate font, and then they consistently follow it all across. And anything other than that, like that, there is an advertisement of online home camp or something like that, that is popping out entirely different. It is not united. So this helps the readers or the users to see the cohesiveness, the understanding of overall which comes from there. Okay, so these are the 9 elements of the graphic design. Okay, can we quickly go, so therefore you can see one by one after the other, right? You have line, you have shape, okay, line and shape, color and texture, space and balance, rhythm and emphasize, and finally all the unity. There are 9 parameters. Unity is a unit separate, right? So these are lines, beautiful, and you have shapes, very interesting, very brilliant idea of using shapes. Okay, for example, these are logos, and you have the color, which is emotional quotient, and you have, you know, texture, color and texture coming together, and these are all space, and you have balance, space and balance, and you have, you know, this is the balance, and you have rhythm. Okay, rhythm and emphasize, rhythm and emphasize, and finally the unity. All right, so there are common practices. I think, hope you guys have enjoyed. Now you'll be able to see a poster and see where all these elements are coming from. Okay, we will see how this has been evolved, but there are general practices that is being practiced in graphic design, and there's nothing but, you know, there is something called golden ratio. Next tomorrow we are going to see little bit detail about this, because it is taken from the nature. All right, the golden proportion and Fibonacci series. And what is Fibonacci series? Let's see tomorrow. It's very interesting. And there is something called rule of 1/3. The rule of 1/3 is the composition which has been used by, you know, almost everywhere in photography, product design, car design, layout design, and everywhere there is rule of 1/3, the mantra, which is I will let you know tomorrow in detail. And of course, how use of color combinations. There are color combinations. Say for example, BP. BP is a British Petroleum, and you know, there's a group of colors which is pleasing. And the right side, if you see, analog is like there are same kind of, some kind of group of colors which is going together, and how people use it. And there are corporations or the brands which is connected emotionally to the what do you call, the brand and color. So for example, if it is red, red is active, bold, physical, leader, and most of the food and things like that. You know, Kellogg's or the Lego is a Coca-Cola. These are all red. And pink color, we will see little later tomorrow, and see what is typography. So you have Sherifans, you have sans, and how typography impact and things like that. And of course, few applications of design. Look at these posters. The McDonald's, spicy McDonald's, has been depicted in a very nice form. With the help of digital tools like Photoshop, CorelDRAW, InDesign, so many other parameters are there. I will introduce you tomorrow the tools of graphic designers which is being used, and of course, it's like a sea, and an opportunity is tremendous, and you are not away from the graphic design. And tomorrow, all your classrooms, all your educational, academic educational curriculum is going to be visual design. All your classes, you know, your studies are also going to be animated. All your physics experiment and chemistry subject and lessons and experiments are going to be visually conveyed to the students. And who will do it? And if it is generic, and then design and emotional is having a social quotient, so who will do that? And the look at this logo design is a huge amount of opportunity for anyone to, you know, explore. And there is something called user interface, UI, UX. That's the paradigm shift in terms of graphic design. So now big corporate work on UX and UI, user experience and user design. And it's an IT curriculum, IT career, but huge amount of responsibilities and salaries and opportunities are interestingly being worked out by the graphic designers who is using interface tools, user interface, and UX, UI, user experience and user interface. Okay, So we'll see all of them. You have a package design, which is part of graphic design. You have a space and environment, and infographics, like the product design. Maybe car, trucks, and all have stickers in the. You call sticker, it's decals. That's what we call it. And couple of designers to be noted, who are the legendary people in the field of graphic design. Okay. So with that note, we will close it today for this session, and tomorrow. So graphic design, you have an element you learned about, lines, shapes, colors, textures, emphasize and emotions and rhythm and all the pattern, everything. So how it has been utilized, what kind of tools is used to make any graphic design, all such things we will see tomorrow. I hope you guys have enjoyed it thoroughly, and also please let me know by your comments or feedback in the whatever, in YouTube or whatever, so therefore I can also understand how you guys are taking it forward. And of course, what is very important is you guys have to have I am changing over to the um, video capture device. So how you guys are going to have uh, a career, how you plan your design career, how to study, where to study, all such things I will try to cover it tomorrow. And it's a wonderful career and very successful career. But what is very important is the individualistic idea is what is going to decide whether you are a successful designer or not. So design is an interesting and exorbitant and futuristic and very enjoyable career. I welcome you all to understand and catch up design as a curriculum. I will also touch upon where to study and things like that. And with that note, I close it tomorrow. We will come back with a lot of energy and more visuals and very interesting topics. Okay, thank you so much.